What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, carved up vegan muscle with the lovely, the radiant Anita Morgan, aka Mrs. Carved Up Vegan Muscle. And we were sitting around talking last night. We went out to eat. We got pizza at a pizza parlor called Spinoza's. It's kind of near where we live, and you can kind of get like vegan pizzas there, or at least you can make them into vegan pizzas. Which is what we did. And we were talking, though, about how we kind of try to buy a lot of American-made products because we try not to purchase anything that was made through child labor or anything like that. And it kind of got us thinking and talking about how a lot of vegans or people in the vegan community don't really seem to value like that kind of thing as much as you think, or as we think that they kind of would.
Right.
Usually a lot of people are really into animal rights and that kind of thing, which is good. We're into that too. We try not to kill animals. That's part of the reason we're vegan is because we value life. But what we see a lot in the vegan community is that people are really into animal life, but when it comes to some of these other aspects, some of these other topics of like human life, they don't really seem to care about what kind of products they buy as far as if they were made with child labor. It's not really a subject that we see come up a lot amongst vegan circles or, the limited amount of interaction that we have with other vegans through Facebook. I don't think we actually know, I don't know if we know any vegans in real life, do we?
A few here and there.
Maybe, yeah, a few people.
I have friends in Columbus.
Yeah, oh yeah, well we know Sammy and Lee.
I don't think that it's necessarily that people don't care about human life. I think it's that it seems like they don't think about it so much. We spend a lot of time finding, vegan foods, and we talk about animal rights, and we watch all kinds of videos about this stuff, but then at the same time, I have no idea who made my clothes. It could have been somebody in China making 5 cents an hour. It could have been a 7-year-old. I don't know. So just more recently, I've just tried to and I'm not perfect at it. We're not, it's not like we buy 100% American made, or even it's then it's not. Yeah. I mean, American made isn't necessarily,
it's not about being American made.
Right. That's exactly. It's just ethical.
Yeah.
And so recently,
we assume that a lot of the products we would buy as Americans in America would be probably not made with child labor.
Right. So, I try to focus on small businesses, and we're finally financially in a place where, we don't make a whole lot of money, but we can, say, instead of buying, from here, I can actually buy from a smaller business. I can afford the higher price just because, it probably did cost a little bit more to make it, and I don't mind paying it as much now, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, before I graduated from college and got a job, most of our clothes came from the thrift store.
That's true.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I guess kind of the underlying pinning theme of what, we're trying to say here is that, just that we are, we are vegans because we value life. And it actually kind of comes up, sometimes this might be a little bit of a controversial topic, but like the subject of abortion, I'm always kind of surprised when I see like vegans that are like really pro-abortion or pro-choice. When we use the word choice or put choice on it, it really gives it a negative connotation when we say we're not pro-choice. But to me, it kind of, maybe I'm alone, or I know I'm not alone, but I think I'm probably in a minority in the thinking that it really is either pro-life or pro-choice. And, because we value life in all aspects of our life,
right,
or, of what we believe in, we're kind of pro-life people. And you can come up with all these crazy, antiquated scenarios of, what if somebody was raped and going this, but when you get down to it, that's not the norm. That's not what usually people are getting abortion for. They're getting an abortion because it's inconvenient for them.
Right.
This is an inconvenience to their lifestyle, so they want to kill an unborn baby. And, then you get into all these, like, kind of philosophical things about, is this child, is it alive because it hasn't been born yet? And, I mean, it's a living creature that's inside of its mother's womb. Yeah, it's alive. So I generally would think, if I didn't know better, that most vegans would actually be pro-life because of their stance that they don't want to kill. They don't want to kill and destroy the life of other animals, so you would think that, or I would think that they would want to be life in that scenario. And I mean, this is kind of a different comparison, I guess, but, I don't think I would go to any, like you say, like, well, these children, if they're not unwanted by their parents, they're going to be given up for adoption, but I'm assuming that if you go to an adoption or an orphanage where there's lots of kids that are homeless and have no parents, if you ask them, would you rather have been killed before you were born or been given the opportunity to live in the orphanage, they're probably going to want to live.
Right.
So, I guess that's kind of, I don't know how to describe that. It's, maybe I have a narrow-minded viewpoint of, some of these things in general, but, I just kind of, anytime we can support life and support life in general, whether it be human life or animal life or anything, I think it's always better to go with not killing. Did you have any closing thoughts on that before we close it down?
No, I think you touched it all.
Yeah, probably touched on more than I
Yeah.
intended to.
He went into the controversy a little bit, but I agree that we need to focus on all life. It's not just about animals. It's not just about, I mean, if I had to choose between an animal and my child, I would choose my child, but it doesn't mean that I don't love, I would do whatever I could to, both lives are important. So I think we need to make sure we keep our focus like that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Alright, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you in the next video.